With hybrid being the big buzzword lately, there's obviously an option for a hybrid migration, and we have some considerations that we need to think through before we decide how we're going to approach this hybrid migration. And one of the big things is what flavor of Exchange on premises are you running? Because it'll support 2007 or higher, but depending on what flavor you have on-prem will determine the steps necessary to complete that migration. For example, if you're running 2010 with between 150 and 2,000 mailboxes, hybrid migration will be working for you, and will do so by creating small batches of users at a time, roughly 150, to complete the migration process. But if you're running a later version like 2013 or 2016, you also have another option within the wizard to run a minimal hybrid migration. So the options are going to vary depending on what flavor that you're running on-prem. You'll use the Exchange Server Deployment Assistant to help you determine the best approach. And we're going to take a peek at that towards the end of this module. And then after you've completed this assistant to determine your best approach, and then after doing so, you'll complete the migration using the hybrid configuration wizard. Now, with that said, let's take a look at some of the options here. If we have Exchange 2016 on-prem, we can perform an Exchange 2016 based hybrid deployment, but we can't perform a 2013 or 2010. If we're running 2013 on-prem, I can use both a 2016 and 2013 based hybrid deployment. If we're running Exchange 2010 on-prem, I can perform 2010, 13, or 16 based hybrid deployment. If we're running Exchange 2007, I can only perform a 2010 and a 2013 based hybrid deployment. In addition to what we're seeing here, we have what's called a hybrid express migration or minimal express migration. I can't use that with Exchange 2007. I can only use that with Exchange 2010, 2013, or 2016. So let's talk a little bit about that hybrid express migration. First thing you're going to do is verify you own the domain. Secondly, you're going to start the express migration, and you're going to do so by choosing the minimal hybrid configuration from within the Exchange hybrid configuration wizard. You're going to run AD synchronization to create your users in Office 365, and you'll use Azure Active Directory Connect to perform that task. You'll again have to assign Office 365 licenses to your users. You'll start migrating user mailbox data, and you can specify which users that you want to migrate, and you do this by using the data migration option inside of the Exchange Admin Center. And again, we'll update the DNS MX record. If we're performing a straight up migration of hybrid, not the express flavor, we'll again run the Exchange Server Deployment Wizard, but this time we won't choose the minimal. We'll have to make sure we've signed up for the Office 365 tenant, and we can verify we have done so either through the Exchange Admin Center or using this git-organization config PowerShell command. We'll make sure that we've met the prerequisites that are required for setting up a hybrid. For instance, we want to make sure we have the appropriate Exchange server flavor. We have to make sure the AD Connect is installed and configured to support the synchronization. The Windows Server 2003 at the minimum, standard or enterprise with Service Pack 1, and that'll support both the 32 and 64-bit. In step 4, we'll gather information needed to configure hybrid, like your Active Directory forest root, your internal Exchange server name, your Edge transport server, SMTP records, good stuff like that that you're going to be prompted for as you run the configuration wizard. You'll then configure the hybrid deployment prerequisites. This will include some of those items like the SMTP records, your AD Connect, your Edge transport server, DNS records that need to be added. If you have any certificates for Exchange, you'll need to add those as well. And after you've configured all the prerequisites, you're going to run through the wizard. And then lastly, you'll finalize a hybrid deployment by creating a test mailbox and configuring that DNS MX record. So much easier using the minimal hybrid migration steps than using the full-on hybrid migration steps. But this will allow users to work in both Office 365 and on-prem.